Acharan and Sumiran. Varna. I hope everyone has it in front of them so you can chant along. Varnanamarthasanghānām rasanām chandasāmapi mangalanām ca kartarām vande vāni vinayakam bhavani shankarau vande shraddha vishwasarupiణam yabhyam vinana pashyanti siddha swantasthamishwaram vande bodhamayam nityam gurum shankararupinam yamashrito hi vakropi chandra sarvatra vandyate sitaram gunagrama punyaranya viharinam vande vishuddha vijnanam kavishvara kapishwaram udbhavasthiti samhara karini kleshaharini sarvashayaskarim siddham natoham ramavallabham yadmayavasharati vishwamakhilam brahmadidevasuraaya yatsattvadam rishaiva bhati sakalam rajyayata hirbrahmaha yatpadaplavamekhameva hi bhavam bodhi sthitirshavatam vandeham tamasheshakaranamaram ramakyamisham harim nānā-purāna-nigama-gama-sammattam tam yata Ramayane vachanan-yato-mi svanta-sukhaya tulasi-raghunath-gatha bhāsha-nibandha-mati-manjula-matanoti Sumiran. Jo sumirat siddhi hoy gananayaka karivara vadana karau anugraha soy bodhirasi subaguna sadana mukha hoy vājala pangucharai girivara gahana chasu kripasu dayala द्रवौ सकलकलिमलदहना नीलसरोरुहश्याम तरुणवरुणभारजनयना करौ सुममौरधाम सदा क्षीरसागरशयना कुन्दलिन्दुसमदेह करकुमारमनकरुणायना जाहि दीनपरनेह करौ कृपामर्दनमयना वन्दागुरुपदकञ्च कृपासिन्धुनररूपहरि महामोहतमपूञ्च जासुवचनरविकरनिकर जासुवचनरविकरनिकर Hari Om. All right. So we reached the section where Bhagavan has finished his meeting with Shabarima and she guided him to go to the Pampa Sarovar and pass there and go and meet Sugriva. So Bhagavan is heading south in his search for Sitaji. And we saw how Bhagavan creatively described the effect that karma has on a person. He described it in the form of an army that attacks. We also saw how Bhagavan reached the beautiful, peaceful Pampa Sarovar, Pampa Lake, and he settled, means he took a bath and he's relaxed with Lakshmana over there. And it's interesting how Tulsidasji describes the beauty of that Pampa Sarovar where he was sitting, because right now he's playing the role of somebody who is extremely sorrowful, extremely sad, extremely depressed, having lost Sitaji. And he's in an environment where inside he's miserable, but playing the role of someone miserable, but outside he's in a really beautiful place. And that is exactly our description most of the time, is it not? We are surrounded by comforts, we are surrounded by enjoyment, we are, well, Gurudev says we are happily suffering. So that's Gurudev's line, right? We are happily suffering. What is it? Miserable in the midst of comforts. There's so many different phrases he has for that paradox where our comforts have increased, decreasing happiness amongst increasing comfort is another one. So many phrases he has to explain that phenomenon. And you know, I mean, people in rich countries are not more happy because external things don't actually reflect our inner state of joy. So that is also depicted in this scene where Bhagavan has come to a beautiful environment, but inside he's still going through the sorrow of having lost and looking for our Sitaji. At this point, when Bhagavan is finally relaxed, sitting with Lakshmanji, Nāradaji sees him. And Nāradaji thinks, you know, it is my fault that he is here. So let me go and speak to him. Also, I won't get this opportunity again. I mean, when will you get the Lord of the universe just sitting and doing nothing like that in this world? So he takes the opportunity and he goes there. And he says to Bhagavan, you already know everything, but I still want to ask you a boon. And before he can ask for a boon, Bhagavan says, there's nothing that my devotee wants that I won't give them. There's nothing that my devotee can ask for that I cannot give or I will not give. So Bhagavan has all the power to give us anything in this world that we want. And so Nāradaji, well, his first question to Bhagavan is, well, you know what? I wanted this boon that the name Rama should become the greatest name that exists, right? Greater than all names should be the name Rama. And we saw a little bit about that. You know, when one day Parvati Ma had told Shivji, you know, I'm supposed to chant Vishnu Sahasranama, but I have so much work to do. I have so many things to do. I don't have time. I'm taking care of these 2 children. There's all of this housework. There's so many things. I don't have time to sit and chant this Vishnu Sahasranam every day. And at that time, Shivji says to her, Sahasranama Tattulyam Rama Nama Varanane. One name Rama is equal to that 1,000 names of Bhagavan. So you just say this name Rama and you're good to go. Now we're like, oh, okay, that's good. Shortcut. We are looking for shortcuts. But the impact of the power of the name also comes with the intention with which we chant it, right? Otherwise, a computer that has Rama, Rama, Rama playing all day should get moksha, but it doesn't work like that. So the name Rama is very powerful. And for those who are doing Sanskrit or know Sanskrit, you'll notice one of the unique things about the R and the M is that they're the only 2 consonants that are written above the line. You know, the R, when it's Rahalant, it's written as a rave. And then the M is also written as a dot, the Anuswara, on top of the line. So There's no other consonant that is written above the line in the Sanskrit script, and it so happens that the two sounds that come in Rama, the two consonants, are the ones that come above the line. So there's something very special about this name Rama. And in the beginning of Balkan, Tulsidasji went on profusely about the greatness of this Rama Nama. It's called Rama Nama Mahima. So if you're interested, you can see that section, right? But anyways, Bhagavan had already said, Nāraji, whatever you ask, I have to give. So Bhagavan said, Tathastu, so be it. If that is what you want the name Rama to be the greatest name, okay. So that is why now the name Rama shines like the moon, and all the other names are like stars. And I mean, you know that stars are not actually tiny little things. They're much, much bigger than the moon, right? It's just from our point of view that the moon is big. So from our point of view, for our benefit, that name Rama is going to help us in our sadhana. It's going to help us, to develop our bhakti. But it doesn't mean that the other names are lesser in any other way. Stars are not lesser. Stars are, the stars that we see in the sky are bigger than our sun. So it's not about that. It's about what it does for us from our point of view. So those are some things you can think about in this, right? Now, what happens is Nāraji sees that Bhagavan is pleased, and he wants to take the opportunity to ask something else. I told spoiler alert last week, but now let us see how he actually asks, right? So this is now after, where did we reach? After 42. We'll chant after 42 in Aranyakanda. Someone can tell the page. Ati prasanna raghunatha hi jani puni Nārada bole mridubani Rama jabahi prere unij maya mohi humo mohi sunahu raghuraya tab vivaha mein chahu kinha prabhu ke hi karana karai nadina sunu muni tuhi kahahu saharosa bhajahi je mohita ji sakala bharosa karahu sada tinhage rakhvari jimi balak ragai mahatari gahase subachha anala ahi hai tahara kai janani aragai prarabhaye tehi sutta paramata priti karai nahi pachili bata more praratanaya samagyani balaka sutta samas dasamani janahi mora bala nija bala tahi duhu kaha kama krodha rapu ahi yah vichari pandita mohi bhajahi paehu gyana bhagati nahi tajahi. 43 Doha now. Kama krodha lobhadi mada prabala moha ke dhari dinamaha ati daruna dukhada maya rupi nari siyavar Ramachandra ki jai pavan sut Hanuman ki jai umapati maha So now, this is after 42. Nārada, having done pranams to Bhagavan for giving him the boon that he asked for about the great name of Rama, Tulsidasji writes, Ati prasanna Raghunatha hi jani, knowing or seeing that Bhagavan was very pleased, happy, there's a time to ask things. There's a time to see how people are and what mood and all. So seeing that he was pleased, he was happy. Puni Nārada bole mridubani. Then, now Nārada again spoke soft words. When he speaks soft words, actually the indication of soft words should tell you something you're going to ask changes the tone in which you ask it. Either the tone, when the summer camp is going on right now, right? So we have children of all ages here. The tone with which they come and say your name, if they're coming to complain, if they're coming to ask something they shouldn't be asking, like what they're coming for. Just based on the tone and the softness or the intensity of their voice, right? So his tone also changes now. Softly, he asks Bhagavan Rama, Rama, O Rama, Jabahi prereyu nija maya. When you spread your maya, mohehu mohi sunahu raghuraya, and you deluded me, O Rama. Now, what is he talking about? Well, I told this last week. If you were not here, then we have to recap again. See the next line. Taba bebaha me chaho kinha. At that time, when I desired to get married, Prabhu kehi karana karai nadinha. O Bhagavan, for what reason did you not allow me to get married? So, super duper quick recap. In Balakand, Nārada was inflicted by the disease of pride. Pride had entered Nārada's mind. And Bhagavan wanted to teach him a lesson. And so he created this whole kingdom in the middle of nowhere where Nārada went and investigated and saw a beautiful princess, Vishvamohini, preparing for her Swayamvar. And the king and queen asked Nārada to read her palm and see, what her future will be, what kind of husband she's going to get. But Nārada, seeing this princess, gets totally deluded. And he thinks in his mind, I want to marry this princess. So he doesn't say anything about what her lines are actually saying. He doesn't tell all of that to the parents. He makes up some things, and in his mind he's thinking, how is it that I can get the hand of this princess? I can't get her looking like this. She's so beautiful. And he thinks, japa, tapa, and all of that. I mean, they give siddhis, they give powers. So I can use japa, tapa, siddhi, but I don't have time for that. I need to do something faster. So he invokes Bhagavan, and he's like, Bhagavan, please. Yeah, Bhagavan shows up there. And he's like, Bhagavan, I want you to give me your beauty. I want you to make me as beautiful as you. And he literally says, I want you to do what is good for me. I want you to do what is good for me. Like that, he says. My hita. So he says, I want you to do what is in my benefit. You please give me your face so I can go and marry this princess. Well, long story short, Bhagavan does not give him his face. In fact, Bhagavan even tells him there, I'm going to give you what is good for you. But he doesn't get it. And he goes and he thinks that he's very handsome. And the princess gets scared seeing his monkey face, which is what he actually got. And when he finds out, he gets very angry and he curses Bhagavan. And he says to Bhagavan, you didn't allow me to get married to this princess. You're also going to suffer the loss of your wife because of this. The pain that I'm feeling of not getting this princess, you should also feel that pain. And not only that, the monkey face that you gave me, those monkeys are going to have to help you. You're going to take their help to find that wife of yours that you lose. He gave shrap to Bhagavan like this. And then obviously when Bhagavan removed his Maya, he realized, oh my God, what have I done? But that was that shrap was given, that story was told in Balkand as an explanation for one of the reasons of Bhagavan's avatars. This avatar of Bhagavan, why he came as Rama in this way, one of the references is the shrap of Nāraji. And so, how long ago did that happen? See, Bhagavan is now like, he was born, he grew up, he got married, he went to school, he protected Vishwamitra's yajna, he got married, he got banished, he went to the forest. 13 years of banishment are finished, he's in the 14th year. All of that time has passed. And before that also, time would have had to pass because the Rudra Ganas that were laughing at him, they're the ones who told him, go and look at your face, right? The two of Lord Shiva's attendants were laughing at him. He cursed those two and said, you go become Rakshasas. So they became Ravana and Kumbhakarna. And so they had to finish that life and then be born as Ravana and Kumbhakarna and then cause trouble, and all of that had to happen. Then only the Devatas had to go and ask Bhagavan to come. So point is, how much time has passed from the time that Nāraji gave that curse to Bhagavan to now when he's sitting at this lake. And after all of that time, Nāraji is still thinking, but why didn't you let me marry that princess? He's held on to that grudge for so many years, or what? Right? What is going on? Then the other thing is, see, Bhagavan just said, there's nothing that the devotee asks that Bhagavan cannot give. So when I asked to get married to that princess, why did you not allow me? Like, hello Bhagavan, you're saying two different things. So why could Nāraji be asking such a question? It is actually a very profound section of this kanda. And it answers the question of why does Bhagavan not fulfill all our wishes? We have endless wishes. We ask Bhagavan. He has the power to fulfill all of them. But he doesn't. And he gives the reason here. The other thing to keep in mind as we go on, Swamiji had explained in one place about how something that finished, like went into the past one moment ago, versus something that went into the past hundreds of millions of years ago, they're actually equally inaccessible to us. Like the 1 second ago past and the 500 years ago past are both past. There's nothing we can do about the past. But still, in spite of it being the past, and in spite of us having no control over the fact that it is gone, our mind still keeps going back to those things and keeps replaying them and keeps wondering and all of that, whether it's an immediate past or a long past. So this is what Nāraji is doing. His mind has gone back to the past, Bhagavan. Why did you not let me get married? So Bhagavan is going to answer the question. But actually a very interesting thing to see is, Nāraji did not ask Bhagavan, why did I get deluded? Like, how can a Muni like that get deluded at such a kind of thing, right? So his question was not, why did I get deluded? His question was still, why did you not fulfill my desire? So his mind is still on the desire that was unfulfilled. So now, Sunu Muni, listen Muni. Muni, he doesn't say Nārada, means he's not speaking to an ordinary person. He is speaking to a Muni. He's speaking to someone who's not a regular human being. Means he's an elevated Muni. Sunu Muni, Tohi kahahu saharosha. I will tell you happily. I will gladly answer your question. Bhajahi je mohi taji sakala bharosa. Those who worship me, giving up all other dependence, meaning those who are my devotees who worship me, depending only on me. Karau sada tinhake rakhavari. I always protect them. I always protect those who are fully dependent on me. Those devotees who have left all their dependence on me, I protect them totally. And he gives an example. Jimmy balaka rakhai mahatari. Just like a mother protects a child. You know, a little child, the mother knows that that child has no independence of their own. They can't go anywhere else for help of any kind. They can't even help themselves. The only person who can really help them is her, right? So you have the child and you have the mom knows that the child is fully dependent on me. So the mother makes sure that the child is protected. Bhagavan gives that example. Now he says, Gaha sisu bachha anala ahidhai. If a little child, a little shishu, a little baby, like toddler kind of age, is going towards a fire or a snake or some kind of like creepy crawly creature. You know how children, they see things and they want to go and touch it and I don't know what, eat it. And if they see a frog, they want to catch it and eat it. All kinds of things kids want to do, right? So if a mother sees a child walking towards a fire like a diya or walking towards some creepy crawly creature like a snake, what will she do? Taha rakheu janani aragai. She will quickly and secretly, without notice like that, she will go and protect that child. Is it not? Means she's not going to say, oh, beta, you shouldn't do that. She'll just go and without him seeing, she'll grab him and move him. Because he can't do that. He doesn't understand that it's not good for him and she doesn't want him to get hurt and he's under her protection. So he doesn't know what is good for him. He doesn't know what will cause danger. He's fully dependent on the mother. He thinks it is good for him to go and touch fire or go and touch a snake and all of that. He even gets upset when the mother stops him. You see how the children cry and kick and all of that. What? Why am I being stopped? Right? Like that. Bhagavan gives that example. Then he continues. He hasn't finished yet. Praura bhai tehi sutta paramata priti karai nahi pachili bata. When that same child now grows up and matures, that mother still loves him. The love of the mother hasn't changed. But she's not concerned about his welfare in the same way on the previous issues as she was before. Like if a child is coming to the Vidya Mandir and they're like 3 years old, we are going to be thinking, oh, the diya's on, they can't go alone, someone go and be there, right? But if a teenager is going to come into the Vidya Mandir, we're not going to think, oh, someone needs to accompany them. They're teenagers, they know better than to go and touch fire, right? So because now they're older, they're left to, the mother is not concerned about them in the same way as she was about those things that she would have been concerned about. True or false? Because he has his own discrimination now, so the love is still there, but there's no over concern about those kinds of things. Because he's big. He doesn't only depend on her, now he also depends on his own intellect as he grows. So now Bhagavan explains this analogy. I don't need to explain it, he explains it. More praura tanaya samagyani. For me, that grown-up young man is like a gyani, a jnani. A person who has gone and studied Shastra and jnani, like that. Balaka sutta sama dasa amani. And the young child is like the bhakta who is humble, without any man, without any ego, without any arrogance. A bhakta without arrogance or without ego, a humble bhakta is like the young child for me. Meaning they're a devotee who is totally dependent on and totally surrendered to Bhagavan. Then he says, Janahi mora bala nija bala tahi. The devotee depends on my strength. Whose strength? My strength. The other one depends on his own strength. The jnani faces the world in his own strength, isn't it? He has his discrimination, he has his understanding, all of that. But the devotee, he faces the world on the strength of Bhagavan. See, Hanumanji was strong? Yes or no? Hanumanji was very strong. But when Bhagavan said, look how powerful you were, you burned down all of Lanka, and in that section in Sundarkand where he praises him, Hanumanji said, what do you mean? The fire was yours, the wind was yours, everything was yours. I have no power of my own. He really felt and showed that his strength was totally dependent on Bhagavan. He didn't feel any independent capability on his own. Best example of a dependent bhakta who takes no credit for his own strength. But the jnani, he has his own strength. He has learned how to deal with life. He understands samsara and he faces it. Bhagavan says, where did it go? Duhu kaha kama krodha ripu ahi. For both of them, the enemy of desire and anger will come. They'll both have to face enemies like desire and anger in their life. Huh? You can parallel desire like fire. The fire of desire, you hear that often. And you can parallel the snake with anger. You know how the snake stings and anger hisses and all of that? Like that. You can parallel the two like that. Huh? Desire and anger will come to both. They're enemies. Means they're thoughts that intend to trouble us, intend to destroy us, intend to cause... inimical. Is that a word? Inimical? Enemy-ish thoughts. Huh? They will come to both. But the jnani, just like a grown person, has to fight for himself. And a bhakta, like a child, depends on Bhagavan. So Bhagavan has to do something to protect him from that. Bhagavan himself is saying this. Huh? So now which one do you want to be? The one who stands on your own strength, or the one who's protected by Bhagavan? So that means what? So I have to choose between knowledge and bhakti if I want Bhagavan to help me? Like that doesn't seem fair. Bhagavan, that seems like that's like cheating. So Bhagavan hasn't finished. He says, Yaha bichari pandita mohi bhajahi. Thinking about this, wise people, wise jnanis, they worship or they serve me. Payu jnana bhagati nahi tajahi. Having gotten knowledge, they don't drop bhakti. Actually, this is one of the best definitions of a pandita, a wise person that you will find. A wise person is one who, having gotten knowledge, does not drop bhakti. People wonder why Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya or Gurudev or Guruji, having become so enlightened, they were still such great bhaktas. It is because these enemies can attack at any time. And it's not like, okay, Bhagavan, I don't want to deal with them, you deal with them, right? Not like that. But there's an understanding that that actually my strength is like a firefly compared to the strength of Bhagavan, which is like the sun. Literally, my power is a speck in front of Bhagavan's power. And they're real enemies. We can't trust our mind. In a moment, our discrimination can go. In a moment, we can be caught by kama, we can be caught by krodha, right? And so Bhagavan is saying that a person who feels that they can handle it on their own, they think they're smart, or they're jnanis, not think they're nannies, they're nannies. They understand how it works. Well, then they fend for themselves. But those who are dependent on me, I will protect them, whether they like it or not. That is what he does for his bhaktas. So now you have to decide whether you want to be dependent on Bhagavan or you want to be independent. And the example given in Shastra over and over again is like the cat and the mouse, not the mouse, the monkey. You know the cat, when the mother cat is carrying the baby cat, the kitten, that kitten doesn't need to do anything. The mother cat holds it by the neck and carries it and drops it and all of that wherever it has to go. But the monkey, when they're going, that baby monkey has to hold on for its life as the mother jumps from branch to branch. You go to the mandirs in India and you look up and then you'll see how those monkeys hold, right? So you have to decide if you want to live your life like the cat or like the monkey. And Bhagavan is saying, bhakta doesn't mean not having knowledge, but a wise person, in Bhagavan's definition, is someone who, having gotten knowledge, still has bhakti for Bhagavan. Because they understand really the source of true power in this world. Anyways, now in the Doha, Bhagavan has plenty to say, and at the end of all of that, he's going to be like, this is why I didn't let you get married to her. So just hold on, see what Bhagavan has to say, and then we'll come to it. He says, Kama Krodha Lobhadi Mada Prabala Moha Kai Dhari. This Kama, desire, anger, Lobha, greed, Adi, etc. Mada, arrogance or pride. Prabala, they are very powerful. Moha Kai Dhari. They are warriors of Moha. They're soldiers, warriors, fighters on the team of delusion. Bhagavan himself is saying they're very powerful. Bhagavan himself is saying, if you want to fight them yourself, no problem. Bhagavan himself is saying, if you depend on me, I will protect you from them. But you can't have it both ways. You either depend on me or you don't. Which one is it? And then now he says, look, let me tell you the worst amongst these enemies. Tinha maha ati daruna dukhada. Among these, all the enemies that exist, the one that gives the most sorrow, the most terrible enemy of all, Maya Rupi Nari, is woman. Maya in the form of a woman. Now the boys are like, yes, you see? And the girls are like, oh my God, Tulsidasji, really? No, come on, Tulsidasji. I was actually liking you until now. Hold on. Please don't take this out of context. Bhagavan is not saying... See, first of all, who is speaking? Bhagavan is speaking, not some random narrator. Bhagavan himself is speaking over here. To who? To Nārada, a great saint. Okay? And please don't take it out of context. See what he says and then think about it. Okay? Bhagavan is not biased. You don't need to put your feminist guard up and all of that. He's not attacking women. That's not the point of this section. There's something else. And long story short, simply girls replace it with flip it. Maya Rupi Nara. Like that, right? And that also, there's asterisk, one step further. Hold on. We'll get there. First, Bhagavan is saying to Nārada, why did I not let you marry? What is the point he told him so far? Basically, he said, because you're my bhakta and you're dependent on me, and so I protected you from danger. If you didn't figure out what he was saying, that is what he was saying. I protected you from danger. Now, he elaborates on that danger, which he saved Nārada from. Really, this section that is coming up now is a section that highlights the distractions caused by desires on our spiritual path. Desires are weaknesses. Maybe weaknesses might even be a better word, right? The distractions caused by our weaknesses on the path, the effects that they could have on us is what is highlighted now. Now, Nārada did not want Bhagavan to protect him. He wanted to get married. Very clearly he wanted to get married. So the question will be, well, why did Bhagavan not let him fulfill his desire? Because if you look at that section, Nāradaji said, do what is beneficial for me. Once you tell Bhagavan, do what is good for me, he does not care about your likes and your dislikes. He cares about what is good for you. If you are a true bhakta, you can desire whatever you want in the world. Like a child who is truly dependent, the mom will always think about their welfare over their likes and dislikes. Sometimes the children even say, I hate you, you're the worst mom in the world, and all kinds of things children say at that time out of anger or frustration of not having their desire fulfilled. But the mom takes it because she understands the child doesn't know what is good for them and they're dependent on me. Bhagavan also takes it. Was it good for Nāradaji to get married? Just imagine for a second. Can you imagine Nāradaji getting married? From every point of view, it is a bad idea. But he did not know that it was a bad idea. And he even cursed Bhagavan because of that. And Bhagavan even took the curse because it was good for Nāradaji in the end. So you actually, if one day over the summer when you're free, you go back to that section and you read it back and you'll see how that whole thing unfolds. So Nāradaji said, do what is good for me. What we like and what is good for us, they are usually not the same thing. We like junk food, but it is not good for us. We like to be lazy, but that is not good for us. We like doing nothing. You know, the things we like are just not good for us in general. That's how the world is, And Bhagavan did not go back on his word for Nāradaji, because Nāradaji didn't only ask him to get married, he also asked him to do what was good for him. So Bhagavan chose what was good for him. You tell me, if you get to choose a doctor who is going to do what is good for you or who is going to do what you like, which doctor would you go to? I like to go to this doctor because he never gives me injections. I mean, yes, I don't like injections, but if you need an injection, take the injection and move on. You know what I mean? We would rather a doctor that is good for us than a doctor who will do what we like and what we don't like. Because he's not concerned about our preferences. He's concerned about our welfare. Okay? That. Another question that will come up is it true that Bhagavan thinks that women are bad and people should not get married and they should take sannyasa? Like he's telling Nāradaji, no, woman is the most dangerous. Don't venture there. Stay as a sannyasi. Is that what Bhagavan is saying? See, Arjuna, fast forward to Dwapar Yuga. Arjuna wanted to take sannyasa and run away from the battlefield. And Bhagavan said, no way, you stay here and fight. Because your nature is of a kshatriya, not a sannyasi. You'll go there and when you're saying bhiksham dehi, you'll be thinking, I should have killed Karna. Your mind wouldn't be there. Right? So he wasn't of a sannyasi swabhava. Nāradaji's nature, Nāradaji's swabhava is what? Sannyasi. Detached. If he got married in a few days after what they call the honeymoon phase, then he will feel suffocated. Both of them will suffer because of that. So it was not right for Nāradaji from the point of view of his swabhava. From his swabhava point of view, it wasn't the right thing. The third thing is that everybody has a mission in life. We all have a duty to do that we are born to do that requires us to live a certain type of life. For example, Shivji needed to have a child that would that would defeat Tarakasura. There was an asura that was like really troubling all the devatas and everybody, and he got a boon that he can only be killed by the son of Lord Shiva. But Lord Shiva wasn't married because Sati was gone by then. So Lord Shiva wasn't married and he didn't have a son, and so Tarakasura thought he was being smart. So now, and Shivji didn't also care to get married. He very happily went into meditation. He could have stayed in there for 87,000 years and more. That's nothing for him, right? But he needed to, because his mission now became give the Devatas a son that is going to fight with Tarakasura. So Bhagavan Vishnu had to come and say, yo, you need to do this. You need to get married so you can have this son. So he can kill the Devata. He can kill Tarakasura. Right? So he had a mission that he needed to fulfill, because of which he needed to take up the role that he did. Arjuna also had a mission in life, protect Dharma as a warrior. You can't take sannyasa at this time, like that. Nārada also had a mission in life. He had promised Bhaktima that he would make sure that she is taken care of. This comes in Bhagavatam in the beginning. He said, he promised her that in Kali Yuga he would establish bhakti in the hearts of everybody and in all homes. How will he do that kind of missionary work if he's busy getting married and taking care of children? He can't, right? So his mission was something that didn't match with the desire that he now suddenly from nowhere had in his mind. So for all these reasons, and then of course Vishwamohini was Yogamaya herself. Who can Yogamaya be with? Only Bhagavan. I mean, you can try and get Bhagavan's face, but you can't actually be Bhagavan, right? So for all of these reasons, it didn't make sense. Now, the point for us as sadhakas, the way to read it is, I should not get distracted from my goal. I should focus on my path. That is the whole trajectory of the section that is coming up. It is easy to get distracted on the path. I should not get distracted if my goal is spiritual growth, enlightenment, however you want to call it. Okay? So let us see now how Bhagavan, this section, if it is not read properly or if it is misinterpreted, people will really get angry with Bhagavan Ram. Not people, women. Women will really get angry with Bhagavan Ram. But you just remember that it is the Lord of the universe speaking, and he can't be saying something that is biased or wrong. It just has to be understood properly. So let us chant. This is after number 43 for those who joined after. Sunu muni kaha purana shruti santa moha vipina kaho nari basanta japa tapanema jalashraya jhari hoi grishamasu shahit sabanari kama krodha mada matsa Again, listen Muni. I think he starts that section with that exact Sunu Muni, no? When he starts to talk, he says Sunu Muni. And here again, Sunu Muni. Listen Muni. Listen, oh Nārada, you are not an ordinary person. He's not talking to ordinary people. He says, Kaha Purana Shruti Santa. The Shrutis, the Puranas, and saints say this thing that I'm about to say. What do they say? Meaning, Shrutis say, Puranas elaborate, and saints emphasize. All three. They say that woman, moha bipina kahu nari basanta. A woman is like the spring for the forest of delusion. If delusion is a forest, you just imagine the metaphor. Delusion is the forest. The woman is the spring for this forest of delusion. Meaning, delusion meaning confusion, ignorance, lack of discrimination, fascination for the world. It's a forest because you'll see beauty and danger both. It's easy to get lost if you don't know where you're going. You can find Satsanga, you can find Kusanga, so many parallels you can find between the two for how delusion is a forest. Now he's saying woman is spring. Please reverse this. For men, woman is the spring, and for women, men is the spring. Man is the spring, like that. Or, okay, stretch, you can even stretch it a little bit and say, any desire that consumes you will follow the principles that are going to be told. Like people who have great attachment for wealth, well, plenty money then will be like the spring. People who have great attachment for gambling will be like their spring. So follow the metaphor, trying to understand the sentiment, and don't get distracted by the direct words, right? She's like the spring, meaning she makes everything look beautiful. All the new buds that come in the spring are like the new thoughts that start to arise in the mind. The fancies that start to arise in the mind in the presence of this man or this woman or this whatever desire, weakness thing that you have. Then he says, Japa tapa nema jalashaya jhari. Now you imagine japa, tapas, all the disciplines, niyamas that we do, imagine them to be streams of water. Hoi grishama so shai sabanari. When it becomes summertime, right? Now you imagine the woman is like the summertime. What happens is, you know how the summer sun, it dries up all the water streams? In the summer, the water dries up, right? In the same way, for a man, for somebody who is seeing in this way, the woman is like the summer that comes and dries up the stream of japa, tapas, discipline. Meaning what? It means in her presence, or with the thought of her or the desire for her, a person is ready to give up all their sadhana. Really, Nāradaji back then he said, Japa Tapa I can't do now. I don't have time for Japa and Tapas. Exactly those two things he had said. Now, you just think about people you know. You know how sometimes when people are getting married, not everybody, sometimes when people are getting married or they've just gotten married, they'll stop coming to the ashram. And then you'll ask, why, what happened? They'll say, no, I don't have time to come anymore. What happened? No time for japa tapa nema, like that. No time for seva, like that. Okay, leave people that you know and come to yourself. Whenever we have a strong desire, it doesn't have to even be for a person. When we have a strong desire, that weakness of wanting to achieve that desire, it dries up our japa and tapa. Simple thing. We wake up in the morning and we have a desire to check our phone. Everyone experience that at some point? We have a desire to check our phone. So japa goes out the window, tapa goes out the window, and phone comes into our hand and we check our messages. True or false? Weakness for wanting to know who messaged us overnight, even though it's like there's nothing urgent on that phone. We take it and we hold it, and japa's gone, japa gone, tapas gone. We're looking at messages. Then at night, it is tapas to go to sleep when you don't feel like sleeping. It takes discipline to say, I'm going to stop now. Isn't it? It takes so much discipline to say, enough is enough. I've done enough. Now, don't we give up that discipline again for the phone at night? You take the phone in your hand, and then the scrolling starts, and then game over. I mean, for many people, maybe not everyone is like that, but for many people, that is the new reality. So, japa, tapa, nema are dried up in the presence of the summer of this desire, whatever it is. In Nāradaji's case, because he's talking about marriage, the example being used is woman. In our case, it will be anything. But the strength, Bhagavan already talked about how one of the strongest desires we have is for the opposite gender, right? So anytime you talk about that kind of desire, you're ready to give up your sadhana because of that. Bhagavan is giving a warning. This is a warning. Then he says, Kama Krodha Mada Matsara Bheka. Now, Kama, Krodha, Mada, Lobha. I hope I don't have to, Mada, Matsara. I hope I don't need to translate these words. Kama, everybody knows, desire. Krodha, anger. Mada, arrogance, pride. Matsara, jealousy. They are all frogs. Bheka. So you imagine in the analogy now, these are frogs. Inahi, harasha prada, barasha, eka. Now you imagine that, okay, first see the analogy. When it starts to rain, frogs come out. That's how it works. If you've not seen that, you please come to our ashram and then you'll know. Means not to our ashram, to anywhere. in anywhere in a tropical country, you come and you'll know. Frogs find their way, right now it's rainy season, and frogs find their way sometimes into the ashram. Tiny little ones. If this was Canada or US, then you would hear screams when you see a frog. But our Guyanese kids are way better. I think yesterday only, there was a tiny little frog in the Vidya Mandir, and we're having class, and then one of them said, hey, there's a frog. Everyone turned, what, there's a frog? Oh, yeah, it's tiny. And then they go and they investigate, and then they leave the poor frog alone, and then they come back. You imagine that scene in Canada. That's it. No class for 2 days. But anyways, that's not the point. The point is, the frogs come out when it rains, and the frogs feel very happy also when it rains. So, Bhagavan Rama is now saying, the woman is like the rain that encourages the presence of all these frogs who are Kama, Krodha, Mada, Matsara. He had a desire for Vishwamohini, that princess. So much so, he didn't tell the king about her fortune. He made up stuff. He thought about how he could get her instead. He went to Bhagavan. When Bhagavan didn't give him what he wanted, he got angry with Bhagavan. He cursed him. Mother, you should see the arrogance with which he spoke to Bhagavan. Oh my God. Matsara, how dare you have something and I don't have it? That thought actually came to him. How dare you get the princess and I don't? And because you got her and I didn't, now you also suffer how I suffered. You also go lose your wife. That's jealousy or not? So when you bring this into your life, means when in your life there's the presence of a weakness for something, a strong kind of desire for something, it leads to other desires. Then all those desires will get fulfilled? Impossible. And the more strong the desire, the more anger there will be. Like gamblers, you just think, or people who are obsessed with making more and more money. Like, is this not how things play out in their life? Okay. Then he says, Durbasana Kumuda Samudai. Now, let me read the whole line. Tenha kaha sarada sada sukhadai. Now she becomes the autumn season. Huh? The autumn season gives joy to the Kumudini flower. It's a flower that opens at night. I think the water lily is the correct translation for that. Huh? She becomes the Kumudini flower. Then the Kumudini now represents all our evil propensities, all of our vasanas. In the presence of our weaknesses, our vasanas come to the surface. You know, if a child is addicted to video games, is it not true that they're ready to do anything to keep playing? All the latent negativities will start to come to the surface. Dharma sakala sarasi ruha vrinda hoi hima tinahi dahahi sukha manda. Now after autumn comes winter. So now you imagine the woman has become winter. And in the winter, it is cold and it is freezing. So she becomes like the winter that freezes lotuses. You know lotuses when they get frozen in frost? She becomes like the winter that freezes lotuses. The lotuses are like dharma. So the woman, again, remember, represents woman for men, man for women, any weakness, really speaking, in our life that distracts us from our path. Huh? Burned. How? You know, like a kid who wants to play video games, they won't shower, they won't study, they will lie, they will use bad language, they will do anything. True or false? Now you leave poor children. You just think in our life also. Whenever we have a weakness for something, a strong desire for it, we are ready to compromise on dharma. Ready to compromise, ready to lie, ready to... If I have a desire to look good, simple little thing. I have a desire to not look bad in front of somebody. Do we not tell white lies to maintain our reputation in our own mind of looking good? That's giving up dharma. Like that. Huh? So like that. Examples, you can think of so many. But she becomes that winter that burns or kills dharma of lotuses which represent dharma. And as a result, our joy is removed or reduced because dharma brings joy. Then after winter, actually there's one more season called Shishira. Huh? So, Puni mamata javasa bahutai paluhai nari sisira ritupai. Now the woman, in this analogy, becomes the Shishira season. Like, I think it's a wintry going into spring kind of season. In this season, there's an itchy kind of green plant that starts to grow. And it grows profusely. And so this itchy green plant is described as minus, mamata. That plant is like minus that flourishes and blossoms and grows in her presence. Meaning this my becomes stronger. In the presence of my weaknesses, my minus becomes stronger. Means possessiveness, obsession comes. Some people become like that, isn't it? There are movies that are made on this. That hero gets the heroine, and then he goes crazy and he becomes the villain. Have you not seen movies like that? That is what is being talked about. That kind of crazy obsession and possessiveness, and no, you can't do this, and you can't go anywhere, you have to be with me all the time, and all kind of things they show in these movies, right? Like that. Then, he's not finished yet. Oh, Bhagavan is serious here, huh? Papa uluka nikara sukhakari nari nibidha nari nibira rajani andhiyari. Now he says, the woman is described now as the thick darkness of night. Please replace woman respectively in your mind. You all get what I'm saying, right? In the night, what happens to the owls? The owls become very happy and they come out. Here the owls are described as our papa. In the presence of darkness, owls show up. In the presence of our weakness, our papa is allowed to come out and reign. Because when there's no dharma, what else will be there? Papa only, no? Adharma, if it's not dharma, it's adharma we're doing. If it's adharma we're doing, the result is papa. So just one thing leads to another. Spring has to lead to summer, which has to lead to autumn, which has to lead to winter, which has to lead to shishira, like that. That whole cycle has to happen. Then, buddhi bala sila satya sabha meena. Now he says, all our intelligence, our discrimination, our strength, our character, our good character, our satya, our honesty, all of these are like fish, not fishes. Fishes just sounds right. Even though they tell you in English it's fish. Fishes sounds more right, isn't it? Fish, a school of fish, not fishes. Okay, anyways, I never understood that. He says, Barani sama triya kahahi prabina. He says, now the woman is like the hook that catches the fish. The fish like of buddhi, fish of bala, fish of character, fish of truth, etc. Means when a person is obsessed with somebody or something even, their intelligence or their discrimination, their strength, their willpower, their character, their truth, they all get compromised, isn't it? You see from real life and you'll see, but Bhagavan is saying, Kahi Prabhina, wise people are the ones who say this. Means they have sat and looked at the world and analyzed and concluded that this is how the world works. So, he says now in the Doha, Avaguna Mula Sula Prada Pramada Saba Dukha Kani. He says that this woman / man / weakness is the root of all evil, the giver of all sorrow, the storehouse of all sorrow. Because no dharma, no following discipline, papa comes, etc. Of course there's going to be sorrow. Now, please remember, it is not, see, if we're talking about Vishwamohini for Nārada, right, that princess, it is not that she is evil. Can you say she is evil? She's not evil. It is the desire in your mind that is the problem. Not the person, but the desire in the mind that is being described as evil. Not the person, but the desire in the mind that is the problem. Like people who they say artham anartham, wealth is calamitous. Well, but at the same time we need artha for dharma. So it's not really calamitous. It's just for that person, what it does to their mind is calamitous. Like that. So you have to take it in that way. So now after saying all of this, Bhagavan says, Tate kinha nivarana muni me yaha jiya jani. Because of this, I put a stop to your desire, O Muni, knowing all of this in my heart. I did not let you get married because of this reason. So, really? Are women so bad? At the end of all this, you ask that question again. Because he said, I didn't let you get married to her because of all this. Are women so bad? No, it is not woman, but the desire for woman in the heart of the man that is being talked about. Desire born of delusion. Like again, Ravana wanted Sitaji. Is there any problem with Sitaji? She's Sitaji. So the problem is with the thought that is in the mind. So Bhagavan is cautioning all of us here. When the potential for that desire is there, when that desire is there, and if we try to fulfill it, or we keep it in our mind, then it can lead to all of these dangers. Meaning, in this context, the example of woman is given. So you take that and you think about it. You replace it with man and you think about that. Then you also think about how it extends to all other desires and all other weaknesses like alcohol and gambling and screen time, So don't say, oh, this applies to other people, not me. You think about it for your own self also. Because it's a truism. Bhagavan is saying that thing which is your weakness will be the most dangerous expression of Maya for you. And for a lot of people, it is the opposite gender. Means it is a person. For a lot of people, it is a person that they're attracted to. But it doesn't always have to be. It could be whatever. But even if you take this literally, you just imagine if people took this exactly like literally, okay? Women are the source of problems and be careful and stay away. If men took this caution seriously, how many problems would be removed in the world? Plenty problems. The only thing is that they see one side of what they're going to get, but there's another dangerous side too. Bhagavan is saying, be careful, don't go crazy. Like that, Be careful. So there's some, there's opportunities for us to develop vairagya in our approach, even in this regard. So we always see the positive side. We have to see all sides of situations. A very balanced view Bhagavan is presenting. Point is, don't go crazy. Bhagavan is saying, not saying don't get married. He's saying, Nāraji, it was not for you. For you, it would have caused all of these problems. It was a big problem for you. Everybody else, beware. Don't go crazy. Be cautious. It has its pluses and its minuses, and you have to know how to deal with it like that. So now Nāraji's reaction. See how Nāraji responds. Oh, it's 8:30. I didn't realize the time. Basically, he says, "Oh, Bhagavan." No, he doesn't say anything. He thinks in his mind, "Where will you find such a wonderful Bhagavan?" Like that. So he finally comes to peace with the answer Bhagavan has given him. In case you were wondering, that is the anticlimax. He is now at peace with the answer that he has gotten. And he has not finished his dialogue. Actually, Bhagavan and Nāraji talk till the end of the chapter. So the next section that is coming up, another spoiler alert, Nāraji is now going to ask Bhagavan, Bhagavan, please, you tell me the qualities of a saint. That is his question. And Bhagavan, in the rest of the chapter, will talk about the qualities of a saint. That is really what we're all supposed to be aspiring for. So the qualities that he describes are qualities we have to try to bring into our lives. So we have our own definition of who is a saint and what do they do. But here you have Pramana, Bhagavan himself, telling who he considers to be a saint. So very, very profound section. Here Bhagavan answered the magic question of why he doesn't fulfill all of our desires. And the simple answer is, if it is not for our good, he's not going to fulfill it. Just because you want something doesn't mean that you're going to get it, because it's not good for you. Super simple. Bhagavan is like our mother if we want him to be. He can leave us alone if we want him to leave us alone and let us face our enemies ourselves. Or we can have devotion for him, know he's the one who's really the strength behind everything, and let him be our not just our weapon, let him be not just our charioteer also. In this case, he's allowed to use his Sudarshan Chakra. He's allowed to use everything. No limitations on what he can do when he stands beside us to fight our enemies of Kama, Krodha, etc. Let them come. I have Bhagavan with me. That's why they have that phrase, no? Don't tell God how big your problems are. Tell your problems how big your God is. Like that. Like that section. So we pray to Bhagavan that we find ways to have more and more devotion for him, so that we understand that really speaking, our life is dependent on him. And so we genuinely and humbly hope that he will help us fight all of our battles. Not like, okay, Bhagavan, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to party and you go and fight my battles for me. Not like that also. All right, we'll do closing prayer. And then I will open up if anyone online wants to share anything. And I'll take questions also. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Shri Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. We're so close to the end of this kanda, but that doesn't mean anything. I mean, number of chopais doesn't mean anything in terms of how long it takes to finish. So we'll see how it goes over in the next class, and then we'll know when we'll finish this kanda. Okay? All right.